Hello, everybody. My name is Ken Coughlin, and I am in charge of overseeing the video ministry here at Trinity. So for those of you, for example, who have been watching our worship services as they've been live streamed on the weekends, that's part of what we do here in the video ministry. We got a lot of other things, too. Obviously, we have our Trinity Talk Live live talk show that goes on online every Monday. We got the Kids Zone Live. We have the VBS. Obviously, that's been a collaborative effort between the video ministry and the children's ministry. And I kind of wanted to take an opportunity to give a brief update to everybody out there about what's been going on with the Trinity video ministry here, where our vision is for it in the future, and what our current needs are. The first thing I kind of want to highlight is the growth we have seen, and I guess it was kind of predictable growth, but growth we have seen in this ministry just since the pandemic hit in March. Now, obviously, for those of you that are still primarily joining us online, you've been able to see a part of that. You've been a part of that, and we thank you very much for it. In that you've been participating and joining and worshiping with us in a virtual setting. But it's gone a lot farther than that, and I kind of want to share some of the things that maybe you wouldn't have been aware of. To give you one idea, we do have a YouTube channel for those that aren't familiar. It's called Trinity Joppa. If you want to find it, you just go on YouTube and search for Trinity Joppa, and you'll find us there. Everything we put out online, video-wise, is on that channel. But on YouTube, you have what are called subscribers, which these are just people. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to a YouTube channel. You subscribe to channels so you can find them later on, so you can receive notifications, so you know when they post new things like that. When the pandemic set in and Governor Hogan issued his first stay-at-home order back in March, we were at 585 subscribers. As of the time I'm filming this right now, we are currently up to 819. So you can see in just a short period of time, and 585, that had been built up over the course of probably 5 years. And since that time, obviously, we've seen dramatic growth in the number of people who have taken an interest in what we're doing here at Trinity. And it's not just, I'm sure a lot of it has been people who worship with us here at Trinity that are now more discovering the online aspects of what we do. But it's not just that. I wanted to give you this example. Since the pandemic set in March, we have had people from all over the world watching what we are doing here at Trinity. Matter of fact, we have had viewers, in addition to the United States, from the United Kingdom, India, the Philippines, Canada, New Zealand, Israel, Australia, and Mexico. All have been watching some of our videos here on the channel. Even within the United States, we've had viewers obviously in Maryland, but also in Virginia, the District of Columbia, Florida, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Michigan, California, Ohio, Minnesota, New York, and Texas, all just since this pandemic began. And we actually received an email recently from a gentleman down in Virginia that was actually thanking us for live streaming our worship services because he's been watching from down there. Not somebody who's just here from Trinity that's on vacation, but somebody who actually lives down there who found us online. So the reach that we've been able to see since this pandemic has happened is we've been able to reach a lot more people than we were before, and we really, really do thank God for that, and we thank you for all the people who have supported this ministry for that. Now, those of you who have been watching our live streaming before the pandemic set in and continue to watch it afterwards probably have noticed some significant differences, significant upgrades that we've been able to make in the online worship experience. Chief among them, obviously, is you may have noticed we have multiple camera angles, and we've added the ability to have picture-in-picture with lyrics appearing on the side. It's also given us the ability to put things on there like calls to worship without a responsive and really increase the interactivity. Now, what I want to show you real quick right now is some pictures. Now, these pictures were taken when we were down in the center aisle downstairs, which is where we were while the church was closed. We have now moved back up into the balcony. What you see here is kind of the front view of what we've been doing here, and you can see we've got 3 cameras, 1, 2, 3, that we can cut back and forth in between. Now, these 2 cameras right here both belong to the church. Those both belong to Trinity. This third one actually does not. This is borrowed. On the flip side, the back side of you here, this is the setup we've had that those cameras are feeding into, basically, to help us bring that presentation to you guys, so you can actually see the lyrics and have the different camera angles, so we can have the wide shot of the whole band and focus in on the pastor when he's preaching or whatever it may be. Now I'm not going to go through all of this detail about everything that's here, but what I want to show you is this is everything we've been using, and part of the problem we have now going forward is, again, a lot of this equipment actually does not belong to the church. It's been borrowed either from, so a lot of it's from Mary Kay or myself, our collection personally, or it's some of it's been borrowed from the school. And with the school year getting ready to get started, it's got to go back. And so we're in a position right now where we need to really rethink things and have a plan for going forward, because we're not going to be able to keep delivering what we've been delivering, especially come September, because a lot of this equipment is going to have to go away. To give you an example, like this right here, this is the computer that we actually use to send out the live stream. This is the one where all the video cameras come into. It switches back and forth between them and sends out the finished product onto YouTube. This computer actually belongs to the school. This was one that was borrowed over the summer, but it was purchased for the school's use with the new online program, which is actually obviously going to be starting up here in the fall. So this computer needs to go away. This computer here in the middle is actually borrowed from small groups. That was a small groups computer, and this is the computer we would use to bring in anybody in remotely. If we had somebody coming in via Zoom, things like that from out of town, we would bring them in on this computer. And this computer here is another one that was borrowed from the school. This is a ThinkPad. This is where we run the graphics on. So, for example, the lyrics that go up, whether it be on the concerts or the worship services, those are all run through this computer. And then we have two monitors up here. This is what's called a preview monitor. This is what's called a program monitor. This shows you here. This one on the right shows you what's actually going out over YouTube, and this one here shows you what's coming up next. In other words, it allows you to scroll through the other cameras to see what they're seeing before you switch to them. Neither one of these belong to the church either. Both of these actually belong to Mary Kay and myself. And so, really, if you look at this whole setup here, very little of the equipment we've been using for doing the live streaming actually belongs to the church. But pretty much this thing down here, which is the video switcher, this is about the only thing that does actually belong to Trinity, and the microphone here you see. So we're in a position where we do need to kind of rethink what we've been doing as far as the live streaming, and come up with a plan that's going to allow us to keep going forward, even when a lot of this equipment, especially the school's equipment, has to go back and has to be returned. So I want to show you what our vision is to going forward, so that we can continue to bring you this ministry in the same way we've been doing, actually even better. What we actually want to do is we're trying to get some equipment for the sanctuary that can stay here and be dedicated to the sanctuary, that will allow us to keep bringing the live streaming, not just to you all that are watching here, but like I said, all those people around the world that have been watching us. And so let me show you this thing right here. What you're seeing right here, this is what's called a PTZ camera. It's PTZ stands for Pan Tilt Zoom. This particular one is one that's been bought for the school, for the online program. These are the things that we're putting into the various different classrooms. Now, a PTZ camera allows us the ability to control it remotely. So let's see, what you'll see here is I can actually move it, pan, tilt, zoom, things like that. That's why it's called a pan, tilt, zoom camera, remotely. Now, the way this will work is all of these cameras can be controlled through one computer from someone sitting up here in the video booth. One piece of feedback that we did get quite a bit when we were down in the center aisle is a lot of people seemed to like those camera angles better, because they were lower. They were down more comparable to the same level as those of you that sit down there are used to seeing. The problem is, of course, we can't leave everything sitting right in the center aisle. And so we've come up with a plan to try to duplicate as best as we could that kind of angle, that lower angle, while not having to have 4 different camera operators or 3 different camera operators standing down there every single time. Now, the idea is to take these PTZ cameras and mount them in 4 different locations against the wall or the balcony downstairs, so they're out of the way. As you can probably see, they're pretty small. They're not obtrusive at all, and yet they are able to be controlled remotely. So we could have somebody sitting up here in the balcony that is actually controlling those cameras down there, and then one other person who's actually doing the video switching, which is deciding which camera angle is going out over the YouTube stream. The other thing we're trying to improve upon is in that picture I showed you earlier. You may have noticed that we had one computer, a whole computer that was dedicated just to the graphics, just to the lyrics and putting the lyrics on the screen. Well, it's always been kind of a bugaboo for me, because we've already got somebody scrolling through those. We've got somebody up here in the sound booth who is using the computer up here to project the lyrics onto the screens. But unfortunately, we've been limited as far as the whatever gets projected on the screen. We can't direct that directly to the video stream as well. Now, we have upgraded some software recently, thanks to Ed and Ryan here on the computer up here in the balcony. And so then we now have software that is capable of sending sending the lyrics both to the screens here in the sanctuary and also to the video feed, so it goes out over the live stream. Unfortunately, some upgrades are needed to the computer that's here in the sanctuary in order to allow it to do that. And so that's something else that's embedded in this cost that we're looking for, that we need to make those upgrades as well. And that will actually eliminate the need for a separate person to be sitting up here running the video feed to scroll through the lyrics. Now, the punchline is this, of course. As far as what are the needs are that we're going to have going forward for the video ministry, the first need, obviously, is we do need volunteers. Right now, the way we've been operating, I've been doing the lyrics. My wife, Mary Kay, has been doing the video switching, and we've had Lisa Koger and Liz Carper have been very, very helpful with us, and my daughter, Sarah, as well, in running the cameras. And so it's been pretty much that group of people since March, doing all of this stuff. And we really do need to expand our volunteer base. So I know some of this may look intimidating. It's really not, but we do need additional volunteers who are willing to help run the cameras. Right now, that's just the standard old-fashioned cameras where you're basically just moving them around. It's not that complicated at all. Even if we get the new cameras, it won't be all that complicated, trust me. And so we do need to see people that are willing to learn how to use the cameras, and we do need people who are willing to learn how to do the video switching, how to use the software and the little piece of the video switcher hardware here to control which camera is going out over the live stream to switch back and forth, and to kind of learn some of the rules for doing that. So if you are interested in helping out and volunteering, my email address is on the screen right now. Please shoot me an email. I've also put my phone number on there. That's my cell phone. You can give me a call on that. And please let me know, and we'll set up a time where we can, socially distance-wise, show you the ropes, and let you know how things work here, and you can decide if this is really a ministry that's for you. We really do need the help on that. The other thing we need, obviously, is we're starting a fundraising campaign here to try to raise money to make these sanctuary improvements. And in order to get all of the cameras, and there's kind of a new video switcher we would need, and all the equipment that we need to replace the equipment that is borrowed right now, especially, and for the wiring and stuff like that. We're looking at about $20,000 to get the sanctuary wired up in that way. So we are asking for your help with that. We've already gotten a head start, and I want to thank those of you that have contributed to this fund already. Actually, we're already about $2,600 in towards our $20,000 goal. If it is something you're able to help out with, I want to show you how you can go about doing that. One way you can do that is just by sending a check, to the church, the address that's on the screen, and make sure you write in the memo line, sanctuary video upgrade. All right, that way they'll know that it goes into this particular fund, so that we can make sure it gets applied appropriately. There is a way to do it online as well if you're into online giving. What you can see right here is our homepage. If you go on our homepage in the top right, you'll see a link for giving, so you just click on that. And then whether you're a member or non-member, it doesn't matter. You just click on one or the other. If you're a member, click there. And this will take you to actually to our giving page. And here all you need to do is you can write however much you'd like to donate. Now there is no specific fund set up in this drop-down menu for it, so what we're asking people to do instead is to go here to this memo section, and in the memo section you can type Sanctuary Video upgrade, just like that. All right, then you put your email address here and continue on, and it'll get your payment information. But just please, please, please make sure that you put Sanctuary Video Upgrade in the memo section, and that way we'll know, they'll know when they receive the funds that that's what it's supposed to go to. So thank you very much. I'm sorry I kind of went a little bit longer than I'd hoped to here, but hopefully you're still watching. And if you have any questions about anything, please, you can give me a call, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to try to answer them for you. But this ministry has taken off in ways we never could have imagined. And Jesus does say, to bring the gospel to the corners of the earth. And we've been very pleasantly shocked and surprised how the Spirit has used Trinity over these last few months to do precisely that. It is not an exaggeration to say, quite literally, we are reaching people with the gospel around the world through this, and we kind of want to keep the foot on the accelerator as best we can, so to speak, and keep it going. But that's where we're kind of in a position now where that's going to be very difficult to do because we're going to start losing equipment. Especially, like I said, a lot of it has to go back to the school. I thank you very much for your time. Sorry I took up more of it than I intended to. If you can help us financially, great. If you can help us as a volunteer basis, that's wonderful as well. We do need more volunteers for the video ministry. So again, thank you very much. God bless.